Audiobook Club with Steve Phillips and Matthew Layton.
On this episode of Audiobook Club, the new novel from national treasure Bob Mortimer.
Chapter 1. Egg Day. The moment I woke up, it hit me. I really fancied a soft-boiled egg. I put on a t-shirt and my cheap, loose-fitting supermarket jeans, walked through to the kitchen and opened the box of eggs sitting beside Harriet's fancy American toaster. It was empty. I was eggless. It wasn't the end of the world, but an egg craving only comes along once in a while and it's quite a powerful pull. I paused and stared inside the empty egg box. It was very and brazenly empty.
Audiobook Club with Steve Phillips and Matthew Layton.
Hello and welcome to Audiobook Club, the podcast about audiobooks that just wouldn't let it lie, would you? You wouldn't let it lie, man.
Yes. You remember, I'm a new conversion to the Church of Bob Mortimer.
Oh, right, okay.
And I'm still, I'm still attending the Sunday school classes, and I'm not quite up to speed. But
okay, well, that's 2 minutes into the show, and the opening line just completely died a death there, didn't it? Yeah, what's the point? Wasted. If anyone, dear listener, are you a Big Night Out fan? Then do let me know, because it'd be nice to have a friend who's seen it.
Yes, nice to have someone for you to talk to who understands what you're on about. Yeah. Look, this is the thing. So you just heard the opening of Bob Mortimer's new, hotly anticipated novel.
He's the one that authors are trying to avoid now, because Richard Osman was talking about this on the Rest is Entertainment podcast, saying that when you release your book, you've got to be careful, like the authors who are going to really, really sell. And Bob Mortimer, of course, just starting out a few years ago, he was kind of the small guy, if you like, but now everyone's avoiding his release date so they don't get buried.
Yeah, it's his third novel. Do you know what? The whole thing is, I don't understand how it works. I've sat here for the last 7.5 hours listening to this book. I had quite a nice time.
Good.
And I know there are some bits that you're going to find funny and that I will make you smile and decide, I think, in favour of, with the spare time you have at the weekend, to complete the book if you haven't decided to already. But there's just bits of it where I don't get it. I mean, you were talking the other day about I think it was the first Slow Horses novel, which opens with a bomb threat at King's Cross.
Yeah.
This one opens with a bloke waking up in the morning, getting into his ill-fitting supermarket jeans. I mean, it's not exactly James Bond, isn't it? And wondering if he's got any eggs. I mean, it's not, it's not cinematic, is it, really?
Oh, I love this about Bob Mortimer, that only he could devote almost an entire chapter to an egg fixation and call the chapter Egg Day.
No, but you see, a normal author would describe, the satisfying ASMR cracking of the top of the soft-boiled egg, the steam gently emerging, the satisfaction of plunging your toast soldier into the thick yolkiness. And
Stop it. But, I want an egg. I want an egg now.
Well, exactly, but this chapter is about not having any eggs. It's ridiculous.
That was a sad... There you go, tragic comedy. Right there, the satisfying crack of an egg and the yolk pouring down the side, and there weren't even any eggs in this chapter.
But so for me, there's this underlying mood in the book of, you could argue anti-hero. The posh phrase I came up with in my head when I was being a bit pissed off with it about 4 hours in was, it's a celebration of the mundane.
The mundane superhero. I was once termed Map Man because I could read a map.
You can read a map. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
But also, I'm nobody's superhero either. So I do understand it, and I don't think I am. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to.
You have a superhero tongue. That's what you have for talking. For talking, by the way, that is.
I understand that it's good, right? I get that. I get it's a quality product. I know how, as we progress during this, you're going to be happily surprised and delighted by some of the things I play at you, particularly the clips and whatever. But I'm not sure I get it yet. Let's put it that way. I think you dragging me into these books has made me read stuff that I wouldn't otherwise have approached. It's interesting. The words quirky and whimsical are used quite a lot in the book, but in a quirky and whimsical, non-sincere, sarcastic way. And I just get confused. Too many layers for me.
I love a layer. Well, just by the way, dear listener, we are casting an ear, if you've probably picked it up by now, the latest book from Bob Mortimer, The Long Shoe, narrated by Bob Mortimer, Diane Morgan, Arabella Weir, released 9th of October 2025, 7 hours, 25 minutes from Simon & Schuster Audio UK. So that's what we're doing. We have a 3-step process if we're ready for it. Let me know if you are ready to go into that, Matt, or you want to go more. Okay, so our 3-step process, if you just joined us for the first time, just joined the club, as it were. We talk about the author first of all, which we started to do, then the text of the book, is it a good book? And then, of course, Audio Book Club, is it a good audiobook? What's the production like? What's the performance like? Is it a narration or is it more a performance? What does it bring to the paper-based version? That's our 3-step process. So let's factor some Bob then, Matt.
Well, normally last year we did his second novel, The Hotel Avocado. Last week we were calling it The Avocado Hotel.
I know.
But of course, in Bob Mortimer's head, you can see he probably went, shall I call it The Avocado Hotel or shall I call it The Hotel Avocado? Well, The Hotel Avocado's got clearly a classier ring to it. That's the kind of thought that goes on inside Bob Mortimer's head. As you have just said, I want to purely look at him from my point of view as a novelist. This is his 3rd novel. He sold 2 million copies, possibly of his first 2, but maybe there are some other books about fishing and stuff that he's written that may count into that. But as you say, the in the race for the Christmas #1, which you and I are following gently, after the Satsuma Complex, his first novel from a couple of years ago, and The Hotel Avocado, the publishing industry outside of Simon & Schuster Audio UK is quaking in its boots as to who is going to be the best-selling author at Christmas. And he's an outside bet. Would you say that, Steve?
Oh, yeah. I think he's going to be right up there.
I can see him getting 3 or 4. So that's my thing. I'm doing the... Okay, we've been through. Can you just imagine that I am not totally sold on the concept of Bob Mortimer? Perhaps I have been living somewhere else for a portion of my life. How would you sell him to me? What does he mean to you?
Bob Mortimer is he's you can't describe it. He's a universe. So I mean, I've loved Vic and Bob for years, donkey's years, ever since Vic and Bob's Big Night Out on Channel 4, back in the day.
So Vic Reeves was his comedy partner, yeah?
Yes, long-term comedy partner. When they kind of stopped making Shooting Stars, they did a comeback with Big Night Out, and then it they kind of went their separate ways. So Vic Reeves, or Jim Moyer is essentially he's a well-renowned artist now. He's an amazing artist, and Bob Mortimer, he's a polymath now, isn't he? I mean, he goes on, he can go into any comedy show now on TV and he just completely lifts that show. There are lengthy YouTube videos of Bob Mortimer stories on Would I Lie to You? He won this new show. I don't know if you've heard of it, Last One Laughing on Amazon.
It's a huge Amazon one with Jimmy Carr presenting that they've thrown buckets of money at. Yeah,
absolutely. He made Richard Ayoade crack up in the end. He won it. So, and anyone who can do that is going to win the thing. But so much else. He is. They've had a brilliant YouTube series, by the way. This Foster's Funny series, Vic and Bob as well. So the characters they do, it's just the way they approach their comedy. It's purely surreal. It's kind of the comedy that I always sort of think back to the big comedy duos. You know, Morecambe and Wise, the two Ronnies from back in the day. They're in that sort of aim. They're not mucky, not too mucky. And they're completely surreal. It's an amazing surreal humor they have. You have to go into their universe. Shooting Stars was just some of the best things I've ever seen that just made you howl with laughter. So check out all that stuff on YouTube if you've not seen. And now he's turned his hand to writing, as well as going fishing a lot with Paul Whitehouse. That's the other thing, of course.
Yeah, so he's a British national institution, famed for his surreal comedy, I would say, and yeah, has emerged from nowhere in the last 3 years, in his 60s, as a writer of quirky, whimsical novels, or whimsical, quirky novels that appeal. I can't imagine. Apparently, you sent me a link earlier on today saying that of all of the book podcasts in Norway, we are number 114, which
yes,
I was delighted by. But I doubt that covering Bob Mortimer and Vic and Bob's surreal humour is necessarily going to play to. It's not necessarily going to play to a Norwegian audience. I don't think
it's going to be 115 next week. Or
yeah, we have to take a hit in the Norwegian book podcast charts.
Do you ever wonder though? You've got Richard Osman, Bob Mortimer, these people who just kind of are famous for one thing, and then become hit authors. Have you ever thought about writing a book? Have you ever thought about writing a book?
You've asked me this before, and do you know what? This week I got very close to wanting to write a book, and the reason I got so close is because I was waiting for this book to come out. I had to find something else to read, and I went on to Amazon Plus, and I found Audible Plus, sorry, and I found something free to listen to. I'm just going to look it up on my phone as you speak. It was called Black Notice, and is by a person called Joy Ellis. And frankly, it was the worst written book I think I've ever read. The characters lack depth. The consistency. I just went, I could do a better job than this. I've never really wanted to. I do have a book in my head, but I kind of missed the chance to do that.
No, hang on. No, what's this? You've never missed a chance. Come on, you can do it today. You can start tonight.
Do you know what? It's quite interesting. You should ask me this in the week after. We have done the Lionel Richie story, because it's about somebody who is in. I wanted to be a travelogue / biography of famous 1970s soul music artist, king in Ghana, and barbecue sauce entrepreneur Isaac Hayes, also the voice of Chef in South Park, and the man who, when recording with Sam and Dave, went for a quick toilet break to try and think of a hook for a song, and they said, "Oh, I think we've got it," and he went, "Hold on, I'm coming," and they found the chorus to the song. So he was a proper polymath, not just writing funny things in books and writing things. And that's if I'd ever got to write my book, meeting Isaac, I would have gone to Covington, Tennessee, where he grew up in the cotton fields, picking from an early age. And tried to meet all of the people that knew him along the way. But unfortunately, he's passed away, so I wouldn't get to meet him in the end. I kind of wanted to do his primary school teacher and the first girl he kissed and people who'd worked with him to get an impression of him from all those different angles. And also, get to travel a bit. He was a king in Ghana. I'm going Ghana, mate. But I don't have the budget to do that. There you go. That's my elevator pitch. Have you got one?
Well, if it helps, there's a book, I don't know if you've read this, by Graham Chapman, called The Liar's Autobiography. No. And so if you really, really recommend it, they animated it as well for a film, but basically it's Graham Chapman's life, but none of it is true. And it's the funniest thing. So if you're ever stuck, just you don't have to go to Ghana, just make it up.
I want the budget to go to Ghana. And anyway, look, I don't think I've got the attention span. Have you got the attention span? I don't have the desire. I like doing what we do. I like in a year, you and I will produce 50 hours of audio, which is, and I can tell you from bitter experience, which is about what J.K. Rowling does with her new Robert Galbraith moniker. I read the 30 hours of her 8th Cormoran Strike novel this week, and I just wanted her to get on with it. But we do that, but we just do little things that are funny and nice, and I kind of like it. I have my creative outlet, frankly, Steve, and that's trying to keep you under control.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. There you go. Well, maybe time to find out a bit more about the book, I guess.
Yeah, that's why we're here. I remember now.
Dragging us back there.
Look, most of the time, I don't think I'm good enough to write a book. And I don't. You have to have a certain level of confidence. I don't. I don't know if you do. You still haven't answered the question.
Well, no, I'm inspired by other people just making a lot of money. But one person has made a massive is multi-million selling globally. With a series called The Alchemist, which was actually Harry Potter fan fiction written on her notes app on her phone.
What? Really?
Yep. Oh. Seriously. Okay. Well, anyway, that's enough about our own personal ambitions to make a quick buck through making some stuff up.
No, look, we'll just leech off the people with real talent. And
oh yes, absolutely right.
If you do click on any of the links in our things that link to Audible, Steve and I may end up getting 30p for referring you to any of the books that you download.
Not even a curly whirly.
Not quite true, but
yeah, exactly. So the long shoe. Would you like to hear the blurb?
I'd love to hear the blurb. Would you like to hear a clip before you hear the blurb?
Yeah, play a clip.
All right. I may be doing this the wrong way round. We can fix that in the edit if I can be asked.
My mum used to call me a pushover, which was much the same thing. And I'd lost count of the number of women who were happy to be my friend, but nothing more than that. I'd never been sexy or intriguing, and even this young lady had picked up on that. Harriet sometimes used to say I was like the boy next door, but without the latent appeal.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's funny, but it's also very true. I think we've all been there, aren't we, lads? Eh? Yeah, no latent appeal.
I think you and I can sign up with our supposedly non-toxic masculinity, which is maybe not always a good thing.
This is why Bob Mortimer speaks to us. Really,
a little bit left behind. I may have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Well, let's find out a little bit more about Matt then. Bathroom salesman Matt is at a crossroads. He has lost his job. He's about to be made homeless, and his girlfriend has left him. He wants his luck to change, and he wants things to go back to how they were. Out of the blue, he's offered a job that comes with a free luxury apartment. He hopes this might be enough to tempt her back. But as events unfold, it starts to dawn on him that perhaps she didn't leave of her own accord after all. There's the blurb from the book. I'm gutted that I couldn't listen to this whole thing today when it got released, and you obviously could. So I'm really looking forward to getting through this book. So yeah. Does it? What happens? Don't spoil. Actually, don't spoil.
I don't really understand how to do spoilers and not spoilers in this context. Not a lot happens over not a long period of time, and there's lots of Bob Mortimer's humour in it. Funnily enough. Normally, I get complaints whenever we do something with proper radio stations. They always complain that our clips are too long. In this one, the clips are shorter because that's the nature of... Oh, is sardonic a word? Yeah, Bob Mortimer's sort of pithy humour and his weird analogies. In fact... I'm going to go straight to the audiobooks, Steve, because I think it works so much better. I think anybody reading the book, let's say it right now, is not going to get the same experience as listening to the audiobook. Last week we had a book read by Lionel Richie, and anonymous voiceover artist, and we were miffed because the author only read the introduction. This week, the author does most of the heavy lifting. He reads it in his own voice. It needs to be him doing it. Apart from the chapters where he's brought another couple of people in, Arabella Weir and Diane Morgan plays the girlfriend Harriet. You, of course, know Diane Morgan as...
Oh, Philomena Kunk, of course.
Right. Now, explain Philomena Kunk. Again, to an international audience, what is a Philomena Kunk?
Well, Philomena Kunk, I mean, the thing is, Philomena Kunk is now international. So Philomena Kunk is essentially a parody kind of talking head that you would get. So this started from the world of Charlie Brooker and his Wipe series, where essentially he would, there were two people who would comment on the news and what was happening in quite a really basic way. Sort of like a base talking head.
I thought you would bring up Charlie Brooker, and again, for an international audience, Charlie Brooker is the evil overlord behind the Netflix series Black Mirror, which I think is more of an international success than Philomena Kunk is, if that's fair enough.
Well, I mean, you say that she is. I'd say she's getting to be on a par now. She's doing all the American talk shows. She's on Netflix. Yeah, she's really popular now. She's pretty much global mainstream now. Behind. So
the idea is that she is a meant to be playing a useless reporter who says silly things that are slightly wrong. And she does interviews and documentaries, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, in a soundbite, yes, but it is so layered. The kind of question she has, basically the where the humour really comes in. She's done several sort of called Moments of Wonder. Started off as like a 3-minute slot during the Wipe series, but has become since documentaries. I mean, Kunk on Life, Kunk on whatever, Britain, whatever it is, and she would ask experts just some really base questions. And with hilarious results. YouTube, if you've not seen a YouTuber, but you probably have heard of her, and you probably have seen her, to be fair, by now.
So there are three things. Number one is Ali G and Dennis Pennis were 25 years ago. Surely we're over this fake interview thing.
I'm not. I love this stuff. I love it. It's great. I love it.
Number two, I love the way Charlie Brooker writes, and loved any time I got to catch one of his weekly news wipe or screen wipe series about current affairs / television. They'd be brilliantly sarcastic and bitter and funny, but somehow with a heart. And then he would, he had a little slot in his show instead of a commercial break where he introduced new acts, didn't he? He gives a slot to someone, has done for the last 15, 20 years when he makes those programs. And Philomena Kunk came out of that. As you say, the names are Kunk on Earth and Kunk on My Face, or whatever it's called.
I think that's what he wanted you to say.
I know. Look, I just find her voice so dreary.
Yeah, but it's very deliberately chosen, though. Very deliberately chosen.
But again, it's my thing that I have with David Mitchell out of Mitchell and Webb. It's like, you want me to engage with that character, but I want there to be something pleasant and good about the character, not for it to just all be bloody pratfalls, if you know what I mean. I don't get it. Perhaps because I'm a chippy southerner as opposed to a chippy northerner.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe give it some time. I mean, I know what you mean. I'm always sort of, erring on the side of caution whenever some new comedy appears or whatever, or a new character or something like that. What's all the fuss about? But
I clearly need a decade and a half.
but I love this sort of comedy. If there's anyone who's sort of sending, I really love the form. I'm a real nut for TV and how it's made, and nut for radio and how it's made, and nut for the news media, whatever it is, and how it comes about. So anything that comes out which pricks the pomposity of it, the sheer silliness of it, the fact that Charlie Brooker, I mean, you say you do like Charlie Brooker, and basically Philomena Kunk is an extension of that universe, if you like, and same with Barry Shitpeas, although he didn't get his own series. That was the other correspondent.
What was the American one called?
He's actually a comedian. It was Doug Stanhope.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And he's actually, he's like a proper American comedian. He's not like a stand-up character. He's a real guy. Still doing his thing.
Okay, let me reel you back in, because I understand that you are an evangelist for this particular form.
Yes, moving on to the other narrator.
Well, no, not at all. No, I thought we did when we did Hotel Avocado last year. We did quite a lot about Bob Mortimer and how he spoke. And the interesting thing that's happened here is that the voice of Diane Morgan that you're used to from Philomena Kunk and the Charlie Brooker universe has moved across to the Satsumaverse to become, frankly, Bob Mortimer's meat puppet.
So where was I? That's right. I was telling you about my first boyfriend, Graham. I only had one other boyfriend prior to the arrival of Matt. He was called Nick. We met for the first time about 6 years ago at a food and music festival in Hyde Park, Leeds, where I was working as a legal executive with the local council. I was sat alone on my green tartan picnic rug, wearing extremely oversized pink-framed sunglasses and my meat is murder t-shirt while eating a sausage roll.
See, I knew I was going to get you with that. Do you want another one?
Yeah, go on.
Go on. All right, here you go. I'm going to make you laugh again. I understand that this is good product.
Yeah, send me your pratfalls. I love a pratfall.
Here we go.
I didn't want to take Matt by surprise, so I knocked on the door rather than use my key. Nothing stirred, so I stooped down to have a look through the letterbox. I was hit with an unfamiliar smell. Quite unpleasant, as if someone was grilling sick.
Oh, God. I mean, it's just a very short, sharp analogy, isn't it? That's really grim.
And again, I knew you would laugh at those. I picked out the ones that are going to go, Steve is just going to be all over this, and he's going to be excited about the intersection between Diane Morgan and Bob Mortimer. Yeah. And they did make me smirk. They didn't make me belly laugh. But I understand that it is good. While I get that it's good, but yes. I don't get it. If you see what I mean.
If you, absolutely. If you enjoyed shooting, do you ever watch Shooting Stars back in the day?
Not really.
Okay, well, yeah. So you can just picture Bob Mortimer saying the phrase "grilled sick," grilling sick on Shooting Stars, and it would be absolutely riotous. It would be brilliant. And
so you didn't on day of release when we were recording, you didn't get to chapter, basically out of about 50 chapters, it's chapter 12 before you hear Diane Morgan's voice for the first time. You didn't get that far and hadn't sort of preconceived what those meetings of two worlds that you actually like would be like. Are you satisfied so far? Do you think that you know where you're going to be what you'll be listening to this weekend when you've got some time to yourself?
Without a doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Well,
we should get Arabella Weir as well, of course, in this.
Oh yeah, she turns up.
Another legendary voice and character actress, comic lead character.
Yeah, she turns up for 2 chapters. She was fine.
Yeah.
Look, the good things that come out of this for me are I love the fact, and you can tell this from Egg Day at the very beginning. This book is refreshingly unfilmable. While everybody else is writing car chases and underwater knife fights, there's just nothing here that you would want. And all of the thoughts are internal. It's unfilmable. I think the peak of this is the audio with the different actors playing the parts and the author being one of those actors. I think that's good. And also, in the end, and try not to spoil any plots, but it actually turns out that the characters do have good hearts, and that actually the underdog, the anti-hero, the bit where you and I would feel aligned to this. Sometimes your girlfriend doesn't want you to get involved in a fist fight and thinks it's a stupid idea, but loves you anyway.
Yeah. I like that.
There's
no podcast audio there, is there? That's kind of run into a skid mark of grilled sick.
I by the way, I am developing something called the Bob Mortimer analogy generator. Yeah. And what you need to do is at the beginning you have Leica, and then you have Reel 1, which spins round obscure 1970s brands, and then number 3, which spins round something to do with an obscure animal. So, for example, it's like Cusson's Imperial Leather. Made with pilchards. You can do it yourself.
Yeah, I did.
I think I found his secret formula, and once you've seen the little wizard is actually just wizened.
Yes,
you know. But again, I've
a little simplistic, but I get the thrust of what you're saying. One thing I would say is, I think maybe you need to immerse yourself in a little bit more, Bob. If you ever watch his panel appearances on Would I Lie to You, there is one where he just says the simplest things, but the simplest and most ridiculous thing that sounds believable, but it's off. And one of the stories he had to lie about or tell the truth about was when he ended up at Chris Rere's house after a long day out in the rain, and Chris Rerer said, I've run you a bath, if you like. I've run you a bath. I mean, even just that, Chris Rerer runs you a bath. I've popped an egg in it for you. Like it's a good thing.
Yeah, but you see, I know this because I did that last year, and I'm quite happy for one of my 365 days a year to be Bob Mortimer influenced. I think it makes me a better, more rounded person.
It does, yeah.
But I'm not going to go down that YouTube rabbit hole again. I've done my duty.
Yeah, all right.
I hear what you say. I appreciate it's good. Now let's move on.
Okay, right then. Well, are we done then with the long shoe? Do we like the long shoe? You recommended it. You've read it.
Oh, by the way, we were speculating last week and going, "What's a long shoe?" And I was going, "Is it a 1970s orthotic aid, or is it something to do with a gambling?" Nah, it's just it's a long shoe. But that's probably a spoiler. I've probably ruined it. I'm going to get sued now.
Bleep that out. Okay. Well, what do you think of the book? You've read the whole thing. I'm yet to. So. What say you?
You've got a lovely weekend ahead of you.
Okay. So we're saying that if you love Bob Mortimer stuff, you're going to love this book. If you're not so close to Bob Mortimer, how did you feel at the end?
Relieved.
Relieved that you finished
got
the book.
It done in time.
Okay. And in terms of the performance, so Bob's narration and Diane Morgan's narration and Arabella.
Wonderful. Bob Mortimer, wonderful, bringing to life his own words. Truly a writer and performer. Diane Morgan, I appreciate that it's good, and having Bob Mortimer put words in her mouth makes a certain amount of sense, and you can see where those two sort of pithy universes collide, and for those who like it, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. But yeah, if you don't like it, then yeah, look, I'm coming around to it gradually. I can appreciate what's good, but it's not for me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I look forward to reviewing his next one, frankly. Yeah, I can't wait. That was The Long Shoe by Bob Mortimer, read by Bob Mortimer. Well, performance or narration, by the way?
Oh, performance, hugely, absolutely.
Performance, okay, fantastic. So that's Bob Mortimer, Diane Morgan and Arabella Weir performing The Long Shoe.
Oh, Arabella Weir, again, yeah, she was fine.
Arabella Weir's a freaking legend, fast show and everything, eh?
She didn't have a big enough part in the book to be totally invested in the character. She only turns up a little bit at the end, and it sounds like she hadn't necessarily read the book before being presented with the single figure number of chapters that she had to read.
I think we owe Arabella Weir a right of reply here. Arabella, if you are listening, very much.
Fight me! Sorry, no, that's wrong.
Do come on and beat Matt up. Right, so that was The Long Shoe by Bob Mortimer, read by Bob Mortimer, Diane Morgan and Arabella Weir perform it. Came out on the 9th of October, 7 hours, 25 minutes, Simon & Schuster Audio UK. I'm going to recommend it even after just chapter 2 because I loved Egg Day. Next week, another J turn here because we're going factual again, and we're going back to where it all began in terms of the internet. Not the Bible, but Tim Berners-Lee. Shouldn't really compare those two, to be honest. There's a Partridge moment. This is for everyone. The captivating memoir from the inventor of the World Wide Web by Tim Berners-Lee, narrated by Stephen Fry and Tim Berners-Lee. I guess it's Tim Berners-Lee saying, and now here's Stephen Fry to read the book. 11 hours and 30 minutes.
Well, you know my views, Steve. I have views on Stephen Fry.
Yeah, I know you do have views on Stephen Fry. Hold it for the take next time, eh?
Okay.
11 hours, 39 minutes. Came out on the 9th of September from Macmillan. That is next week's book. So it's a factual one. It's a memoir from Tim Berners-Lee. This is for everyone, of course, is because that's the tweet he wrote at the Olympics, at the closing ceremony of the Olympics, I think, or at the opening. One of the two, anyway. Anyway, it turned up.
I think it's his general attitude to the internet, wasn't it? I think he didn't get paid for it, did he? But he saw it as a great liberating information sharing thing. And he didn't. Yeah, he could have been a multi-squillionaire. Yeah, but decided to give it to the world, and we know how that worked out.
So many people have invented stuff and just didn't, take it to the patent office. And there's a guy at the BBC who invented the auto cue, teleprompter. The guy who designed the Daleks, and he got about 60 quid, I think.
I did this thing in 1999 called downloadable radio programs that didn't go anywhere.
Oh no. No, it might have been the marketing there. Downloadable radio programs.
Exactly. I was too early, and I didn't have the talent. I think that was the problem.
And the phone-in didn't work either, eh?
No.
Don't forget, give us a ring anytime you like during this recording. That's it then. We're on Blue Sky and Instagram at Audiobook Show. Our hashtag, of course, is Audiobook Club. Have you read The Long Shoe? Tell us your thoughts about The Long Shoe. Obviously, it's only just come out at the time of recording, so you've got a few days to before you do comment.
Hold on. Are you saying The Long Shoe has just dropped?
It dropped today, didn't it? As we record.
So the shoe has dropped. Never mind.
The shoe has dropped. Yes,
Sorry.
indeed. The shoe has dropped.
Sorry.
No, that was a good one. No, definitely keep that in the edit. We shall see, we'll see you next week.
Audiobook Club with Steve Phillips and Matthew Layton.